This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Come on in, come on in. I am so glad that you are joining me today. This makes more sense to me than the December 28th date. And I'll tell you why, because WSU, that's the day they fired Bryan Kohberger. And I told you guys, I thought that the WSU Police Department probably tipped off WSU. I'm sorry, that the Pullman Police Department probably tipped off WSU, and they immediately got the email out to fire Bryan Kohberger. Now, by this time, Bryan Kohberger and his dad had made that cross-country trip inexplicably, this planned trip. Steve Gonsalves's conversation about Bryan Kohberger and his creepy proclivities. We knew a little bit about this from Dateline. I'm giving you guys a trigger warning right now. So Steve said that investigators allegedly found evidence to suggest that the Idaho murders was SA motivated. Now, the prosecutor said it wasn't. And I'm wondering if this is why the police department, one of the police, I believe that's who was leaking to Dateline NBC. I believe that these leaks came about with just out of frustration to get the truth out there. But Steve said in a new interview, he cited information that he claims to have received from investigators about Bryan Kohberger's weird. Please subscribe. I can't get to 50,000 subscribers without your help. And so this lines up with searches that Dateline NBC revealed. Now, they talked about that he liked drunk, and that he liked passed out, and that he liked asleep, and things like that. This is the first time we've heard about the gagging part. So meanwhile, the Latah County prosecutor, Bill Thompson, said in the July 2nd plea hearing that we all watched together, said there was, quote, no evidence of any S component or SA on any of the victims. So why did someone feel the need to leak this information to Dateline NBC? Was it somebody in law enforcement that wanted to expose the truth about Bryan Kohberger and was concerned that the truth was not going to get out there? Now, according to People, okay, so Steve Gonsalves claimed that individuals involved in the investigation had informed him of this suspicion. So this directly contradicts what prosecuting attorney Bill Thompson said during the July 2nd plea hearing. And Steve said, and Steve Gonsalves is Kaylee's dad, he said people got so angry at what was happening in that courtroom, they would literally pick up their phone and call us and say, okay, so he's getting calls from law enforcement they're furious because they were furious about what was happening in the courtroom. So does this contribute to the plea deal? But he said that they would pick up the phone and call us and say, this is what's on Bryan's phone. This is what he was searching. This was SA motivated. Now, he claimed this in an appearance that he made on News Nation. So were the powers at be trying to sweep this under the rug? And if so, why? BK's motives have remained the biggest mystery in this case, and one that prosecutor Bill Thompson said that he was not able to determine after a 3-year-long investigation. And a lot of people are, thinking that's kind of weird. Why wouldn't you be able to figure that out? And at the time, when Bill Thompson finally got the chance to detail what happened, he made a point to stop in the middle of his remarks and emphatically say, I will state for the record, there is no evidence of any SA component or SA on any of the victims. I want to make that clear so there's no speculation. So, okay, there's no evidence of it. I mean, obviously, there wasn't video of him doing that. So I don't know how you would get evidence of that. So I'm going to just kind of split the baby here and say that probably Bill Thompson is saying he couldn't produce any evidence in court regarding that. But I still believe that they can both be right. And Steve Gonsalves is saying, I'm getting tips from law enforcement that there was a component to this because of what he had on the phone. So many people were wondering, how does Steve know this? And many people are wondering, well, how would Bill Thompson, prosecutor, know for sure that there was no SA? I mean, we don't know what was going on underneath Bryan Kohberger's coveralls that night on November 13th was when he was in there doing away with these young people. And there could have also been an SA component afterward. I mean, Nobody knows. But we do know what was on his phone. So Steve Gonzalez made it clear that he firmly disagrees with the manner in which Bill Thompson framed that comment, and for the first time since Kaylee was done away with, was able to explain in detail why he disagreed, thanks to the removal of the gag order. So he cited information that he allegedly received from those investigating the case about BK's weird, these are his words, weird corn fetishes, which allegedly included drunk, passed out, gagging. Okay. And these line up with what Dateline NBC exposed. They said that they found BK was conducting searches like this on his cell phone, and that this is the type of material he enjoyed watching. So Steve Gonzalez said there are two things that were part of this crime scene. And so for Bill Thompson to say that there was no SA, and then he commented, of course, there wasn't evidence of it. He didn't have enough time. Somebody came up the stairs. So that someone may have been Xana Kernodle, who Bill Thompson said at the plea hearing had not been an intended victim, but had possibly encountered BK on the stairs between her room and the third floor, where Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping. And you will recall that Xana and Ethan were sleeping on the second floor around the corner from Dylan's room. Now, Steve has already voiced his disgust with prosecutor Bill Thompson for agreeing to the plea deal, which we understand. Every family, half the families were all in on it, and the other half did not want this to happen. But he said that he felt like the prosecutor cared more about protecting the image of Bryan Kohberger than getting justice for his daughter, Kaylee. And Steve has said in the past that he felt like he was a failure as a father for not being able to stand up for Kaylee's right to a trial. And I just want to say to the Gonzalez family, Steve and Krista, you guys have done an amazing job advocating for Kaylee. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps me out a lot. Give this a thumbs up and drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section below.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff.